Tell her just to be patient, Dad.
I thought you were sleeping or something. Why are you being mean?
She knew I wasn't sleeping. She just talked to me on the phone. She didn't think I was sleeping. She's just impatient. Oh, sorry, y'all. I forgot I was live on YouTube. Testing. Can you hear me now? What was that coming downstairs? No, y'all? Because I need his help. Okay. All right, all right. I'm a little bit late. So let me go ahead and get this started. Come on, TikTok. Where are you?
I had a last baby video about this.
Don't ask me no questions when I'm online. Give me that paper off the printer. Hurry up, and then you can have it. Hurry up. Okay, 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 y'all. I'm gonna go ahead and get started. I'm quite sure people. I'm gonna go ahead and get started. Hey, y'all. Hey, I'm at home again and not in my office. So over here, YouTube, ignore the light back there. I'm sorry that it's a little bright. Let me see if I could change your song. Let's see. Then I can do it. I'm sorry. I am sorry. Nothing I can really do. Let's see. Yeah, I can't do that. You know. But anyways, hey everybody. Hey, it's Tish from the podcast. I'm here. I'm here. I'm here. Another podcast at the house, not in the office. I will go back in the office when I do it with someone, you guys. But I am here. Nevertheless, I am here. Today's topic is, can love survive different lifestyles? And what made me come up with this topic is talking about relationship, marriages. I'm just gonna wait for a second and see if some people come on and jump in because I don't have any views nowhere yet. So I'm just gonna give it a little time. Doo, doo, doo. I hope y'all day has been going well. Okay, I see one person just came on Facebook. Hi, Facebook. I see 3 people popped up on TikTok. Hi, TikTokers. YouTube, I can never tell. Okay, again, so we're going to get started with the topic. The topic again is, can love survive different lifestyles? Okay, y'all excuse my background. I am at home. I decided to work from home today because I was not ready at 7 o'clock, and I knew I wasn't going to be ready at 7 o'clock, and I didn't have anyone with me, so I decided to come home. So, but anyways, let's get into the topic, right? Can love survive life change? I picked this topic because, especially talking about marriages, because when you're a single, right? When you are single and you have your own home, you know that you have to do everything. You know that you got to pay your laundry. You know that you got to do the yard work. You know that all of these responsibility is solely yours, right? You know this. But when you get into a relationship or marriage, I should say, when you get into a marriage and you guys move in together, how do you daddy up that responsibility? Because, coming from experience and listening to other people, I know that sometimes, people feel like they doing more than others. They feel like the responsibilities is not equally broken up. Oh, I'm doing way more than this person, or they barely doing anything of that sort. But if you was living by yourself, you would have to do everything. So just a little advice on that end, I would just say, when coming into a marriage or coming into a relationship and living in the same house, make sure that those type of things be discussed so that it does not cause problems later, or a person does not feel underappreciated. Because when they feel underappreciated, then they don't want to do anything else. They're just start harboring all different type of feelings. I don't know what's wrong with the internet. This is crazy. They'll start harboring all different type of feelings, and then it would turn into arguments. It would turn into resentfulness and things of that nature. So just be clear about what the responsibilities is. And just to be clear, from me, I don't really believe in gender roles. Okay, no, I don't take out the trash because my husband take out the trash, but I do take out the trash. If I see that no one is taking out the trash and the trash is full, I would take out the trash. And if my husband wasn't staying with me, or my boys wasn't staying with me, guess what? I would take out the trash. I am not a gender specific person. I feel like in this day and time, we should all be sharing the responsibilities, because I work, I bring in revenue, money, I pay bills. I buy the food, I cook the food, So the other person should be doing the same thing, I'm just saying, like, in general. Okay, moving on. Say, why responsibilities become an issue. I just said that earlier on, that responsibilities become an issue because, it's not discussed in the beginning, and some people may think that they doing more than the other, or the other person not doing enough. A clear way to think about it is, like I said, I'm going to repeat it again for those who didn't hear me. A clear way to think about it is, if you're living by yourself, you have to do all these things anyways. And guess what, y'all? This part right here is not even just for a relationship. It's for a roommate too, because this will calm down all the confusion. When you live by yourself, you know that if you don't do the dishes, you're going to have a sink full of dirty dishes. If you don't take out the trash, your house going to be stinking and your trash going to be overflowing. If you don't cut the grass, you're going to be living in a forest. Like, these things have to be done and maintained in order for it to look nice and be well kept and clean, right? So, take that mindset in with you when you're about to roommate with people, going to college, or even just getting an apartment, or if you're in a relationship or whatever. If I don't do it, it won't be done. That doesn't mean that when you go in, you do everything. What it means is, hey, let's have these conversations, because at home I did everything, and I'm quite sure at home you did everything. But now we are together in this one house, so let's work on doing things together equally, so that no one is getting tired, no one is overstimulated, but the place is looking nice and clean. So that's what I gotta say right there. It's a breaking down the responsibilities, but I already discussed the finances. Let's talk about the finances. I wish some guys would jump on. If y'all got some guys that y'all could bring on here, I would like to hear the guys' perspective on this. But the finances, that's a real big issue that always causes confusion. What if you have a discussion in the beginning, but the other person is not abiding about what they agreed to? Or, well, honestly, I feel like that is a different conversation, because then, so basically what I'm talking about right now is just, the responsibilities of this, that, and, how to make it work, or can love survive different lifestyles. So that is a question. Like, you can have the conversation all you want, but if a person just not doing their part, then they just not doing their part. But that question would take me into a whole different direction, and that's not where I'm trying to go with this. It's different people all the time. People is not gonna. It's always gonna be somebody who don't want to do what's necessary to keep the stuff going. It's always gonna do that. Hey, Sister Demetria, I see you, boo. Um, but that's not necessarily the issue here. I mean, like, if they don't abide by it, for me, if I have a conversation with you and we agree on this stuff and it doesn't happen, then clearly this living arrangement is not working. So therefore, we're gonna have to figure out other alternatives. We're gonna have to get away from where we are now, because the whole point is to create peace, not division. So, but as far as discussing finances, I think that finances is a really big thing. Like, and this is solely for married couples, especially because when you get married, you are expected to combine your finances. But what happens when one person is they don't have no stewardship over money, they lose with money, and or the or one person is not bringing in money, but they, like, these would be issues to make, to make a married couple not see eye to eye, to make them start feeling a certain type of way and start combating against each other. So my suggestion with that would be, like, have these conversations in the beginning. You know what I'm saying? I suggested to my husband early on, like right before we got married, I suggested, let's get us a joint account. Yes, let's still have our own separate account, but let's get us a joint account where we put such and such amount of money out of each check in this joint account. And from this joint account, that's where we pay our bills and this, that, and the other, or whatever, And then I tried to make it work that way. But it never happened. It never worked. My money was always separate from his, and his was always separate from mine. But I think that if you're going to do that, then you got to deal with two mature people, because money is one of the biggest things why people fight and argue. Hey, Logan. Money is one of the biggest things. So that's that. Logan, the title is Can Love Survive Different Lifestyles? So we already talked about the responsibilities of a household as far as cleaning, who does what job, that forth, and then we just talked about finances. Another big one, and this is a real big one, because even if y'all do share kids, or if there are stepkids, this is a must that needs to be discussed, because parenting styles is so different. And if you're used to doing it by yourself because you were single before, you might parent a certain way and they may be different. Either you the gentle parent and they the disciplinary parent, and when they discipline, then it hurts your feelings. Or you the disciplinary and then they're the gentle parent, and you think that the gentle parenting is not working. I feel like a conversation is always had of how we're going to discipline these children. Mainly, make sure that we understand that we are not going to go against each other when it comes to these kids. If you tell them something, I'm not going to tell them anything different. If I tell them something, you should not tell them anything different. We need to discuss whatever it is that comes about that we don't agree on concerning the kids in private, not in front of the children. but in private, because when you have these type of disagreements and you have these type of things in front of the children, guess what? Now the kids know how they could play you against each other, and it causes even more division. I don't know why this topic came up today, but since it did, we're just going to discuss it. Kids play a big role in families getting divorced or families not seeing eye to eye because the parents is not knowledgeable enough or doesn't care enough to have these private disagreements privately and not in front of the kids. So just keep that in mind. This is a big one for me. This is a big one for me. I don't know who else this would be a big one for me for, but it is definitely a big one for me, and that is emotional support. When dealing with a partner in a marriage, or that emotional support is so important. If that emotional support is left uncovered, unguarded, unshielded, then it causes so much. I need y'all to talk back to me now. I need y'all to talk back to me and put y'all thoughts up in here. But it causes so much friction. It causes you to put up a wall. You don't feel safe. You can't talk to that person about, what really going on because you're emotionally scarred. They wasn't there. See, the Bible says that a man's supposed to protect. And I'm saying that because I'm a female. But I also think that a female is supposed to protect too in that sense. When we're talking about emotions of our partner, we're supposed to love our partner enough to care about how they're feeling when they're really trying to express themselves or when they're really trying to get something off their chest. If you just ignore how I'm feeling and I'm telling you and it's bothering me and I'm telling you over and over again, then it's definitely a problem. It is definitely a problem. Hey, Angel Girl. Let me see what else I wrote down. Dang, I don't know what was that. Oh, right here. Let's talk about the fairness of the duties. We have to first of all understand that fairness does not always mean 50-50. So I know that in the beginning when I was saying like when you live by yourself, you're used to doing everything on your own. So when you come into a place where you're staying with someone else, they supposed to help you because they supposed to be used to doing everything on their own too, and the whole goal is to make each other's load a little lighter. So that's the whole goal, right? So but we also have to be realistic, okay? So in a perfect world, everything could be split 50-50 down the middle. Like you take this half, I take this half. You pay this bills, I pay this bills. You cook this day, I cook this day. That's in a perfect world. But guess what? We don't live in a perfect world. Hi, Angelita. We don't live in a perfect world. We live in a world full of chaos. We live in a world where everything is going on. So in that type of situation, when life is life, we have to understand that fairness is, just picking up the slack of your partner where they can't meet they can't meet their half, but also them picking up the slack for you when you can't meet your quarter. Like when they can't meet their quarter, you pick up the slack, and when you can't meet your quarter, you pick up the slack. For instance, what I mean is like such and such supposed to have cooked today, but his job made him stay over. So alright, I'm going to cook then. Even though it's his day to cook, his job made him stay over, so I'm going to cook because I know that when he gets tired, when he get home, it's going to be late and he's going to be extra tired. So I'm going to cook. And because I cooked, I had to clean up the kitchen and do this, do that, do that. So I forgot to, let me see. Let's say I forgot to put the clothes in the dryer. So when he come home, oh, she cooked. I got something to eat. Okay, cool, cool, cool. Oh man, she forgot to put the clothes in the dryer. Let me throw the clothes in the dryer. And in a functional household, that's how it's supposed to be. I'm gonna pause right here. I'm gonna give y'all a chance to say something to me because I feel like I'm talking to myself. Hi, Stacy. So somebody better say something. It showed me that people was on, but then again it's saying that I got one person over here. Hey, Stacy Boo. Alright, nobody's not really saying anything, so let me move on to my next point. In case. Oh my gosh. How many people keep score in their relationships? Well, I did this, I did this, I did this, you didn't do that, you didn't do that. How many people keep score? Listen, that's the number one thing to a disaster. These are everything that I'm talking about is key things that would destroy a marriage, that would destroy a relationship. Stop keeping score. We can't be keeping score about who did what with did. The only time a score is even kept, and it's not even really keeping the score, but you don't have no choice but to ignore it. If somebody is repeatedly doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. Hey, Kiana. Over and over and over again that they know that it's not supposed to be done because it's not healthy for the relationship. That's the only way where you can't ignore it. But keeping score about how much you did for a person and how much they did for you, that's not healthy at all. It's not healthy at all. When you're in a relationship or a marriage, you got to understand that you are not the only one in that relationship and marriage. So what do I mean when I say that? When people communicate, they're communicating and you're communicating. You may not agree with everything that they're communicating about. You may not like what you're hearing. Some of them may even discuss you, but it is your job to hear them out. And it is your job to, hey Tanella, and it is also your job to come to some type of compromise. Depending on what the subject is, because some things I just cannot compromise on, but majority of everything I compromise on. I'm not compromising on my God, though. That's a no. But you're supposed to come to a compromise. You have to come to a compromise in the relationship in order to make it work. Because you're not the only one in the relationship. You're not the only person that's important in your relationship. Y'all both supposed to be important. And as long as the both of you know that, the better off you will be. Let's see. This is a big one for me because I feel like this is my marriage right here. And this is just me being honest. Living different lives in one marriage. I guess I can't respond because I'm not in a relationship. But you have been in a relationship before, Mom, so you still got thoughts. It's okay if you respond. You've been in a relationship before. You got kids. You know how it go. It's a living different lives in one marriage. Now, this is a question I want to ask. Can a person live different lives in one marriage and still be happy and still be content and still move forward in a marriage successfully? Well, what do you think? What do you think? I want to hear the answers. Y'all answer that question for me. Come on, y'all. Answer. Okay, Mama said yep. Is there anybody else who got anything to say? Okay, Demetria said no. Anybody else? Okay, Kiana, I said in a marriage or a relationship, can the people that's in the marriage or relationship, can they live two separate lives and still have a healthy marriage or a healthy relationship? Can they do this? Mom said as long as they respect each other. Ooh, hit it right on the nail. Hit it right on the nail, Mama. You hit it right on the nail. Demetria said absolutely not. Well, my stance on it that it is possible for people to live two different lives and have a healthy relationship. Like you could have a person that is a social butterfly and a person that, is, like to stay at home and still have a successful relationship. You can have, cause like in my world, the way I think, I'd be wanting him to go have fun. Come back and tell me about your time. But I be wanting you to have clean fun. It's when the disrespect. I used to look at mama and my thoughts. It's when the disrespect come into play when it doesn't work. You could have, somebody that's a drinker or a smoker and you're not a drinker or a smoker. Or somebody that is, I think that it makes the relationship interested if, what I'm saying, if it's respected. The problem comes when people don't respect your differences. Because you don't do what they like to do, then they want to talk down because you don't do what they like to do. Or because you don't want to go where they want to go, then they want to, talk down because you don't want. That's when the problems begin. Respect who I am as I respect who you is. And as long as who you are or who I am is not disrespecting you. She said personality traits and hobbies, that's not living a totally different lifestyles when I'm not around. Wait, personality traits and hobbies, that's not living a totally different lifestyle when I'm not around. Well, I guess, so what I meant by that question was, just being two different people. Maybe I should have said that. Can two different people, have a successful marriage and or relationship, even though, they're two different, like one is loud, one is quiet, one is outgoing, one is, I'm a reflection of my husband no matter wherever I'm at. That's true. That's true. And so my thought about that is, like, even if you are a social butterfly and your spouse is not and they're at home, when you go out and you be that social butterfly, your spouse is supposed to be in the front lobe of your mind. You shouldn't be doing, saying, or thinking anything that you know that's going to be disrespectful to your spouse. I think they balance each other out. Yeah, if it's done correctly, they definitely balance each other out, Kiana. They do. And that's what I'm saying. Like, but it has to be, I think the main key to this is that respect factor. Like, when you start getting cocky and you start getting bullheaded and be like, oh, my spouse at home, so they at home being a couch potato, but I'm out here doing whatever it is I want to do. So what I do out in the streets don't got nothing to do with them or whatever. That's when it started to go left. If you're into the Bible and they are not, you still can have a healthy relationship as long as you respect each other. I don't think that. So because being in the Bible comes with, commandments and stuff like that, someone that's not in the Bible is not going to respect that you are a command keeper because that's not their belief. So even when you're trying to, live the way that you feel like God is telling you to live, they're going to try to do any and everything to get you off track. So I feel like it's a thin line and it's not even chanceable, to be truthfully honest. I think that it's always going to be rocky in that aspect. That's why, the Bible say be equally yoked, because, if y'all don't serve the same God or, to the same standards, then somebody is going to pull somebody away. I'm just saying. So you got to be strong-willed and you just got to be, you got to be strong-willed. Hey, Auntie Selena. Hey, Sheila. So let's see what my next one is. It's a differences versus division. Individuality is healthy. Selflessness is dangerous. At what point does having my own life become neglecting our life. Cause like sometimes when you off to your own thing and you got your own goals you set and you doing this and that and whatever makes you happy, you still keeping your family in your forelobe of your mind and you still trying to make sure that you making decisions for them. But they might not even see it that way. They might feel like, okay, well, she's neglecting me or he's neglecting me. They not always, present or for when I need them to be, because I just probably want somebody to watch TV with me, or I probably just want somebody to, fix me something to eat. But now they got to be out, saving the world, saving kittens or something like that. They got to be out doing something. They ain't in this house doing what I need them to do. Then how do you, separate the two? Because as a wife or husband, your job is to cater to your spouse and do stuff for them. But you also should be allowed to be you, and be able to do what makes you happy as long as it's not disrespecting your spouse. So the question again is, at what point does having my own life become neglecting our life? Somebody answer. Sheila, Mama, Kiana, Selena, Demetria. I think she probably went back to work because I don't see her no more. Tanetta, if you still don't hear. Stacy, Logan, Angel. Come on, y'all. Let's have this conversation. Let's have this conversation. You need candy. Alright, so nobody don't have no comments for that one. So I just feel like at the point where you start disrespecting your and she said communication is important. I ran into that with starting my business. Just gotta be mindful. That's very good, sister. That's very, very good. And I agree with that. I really, really agree with that. I think that communication is very, very important. I agree with that 100%. But when communicating, the other partner and spouse got to be open-minded and understand. They may not understand what all you're doing. Hey, Kenny. They may not understand what all you're doing, but in the same sense, you know what I'm saying, they have to be able to have faith in you, encourage you, and be like, all right, here, I'm going to, allow you your space and your time to do what it is that you're doing. Just don't forget about me. Yes. Communication and open-mindedness. That's correct. Alrighty. Mama, you had already brought up this one, but it's on my paper, so I guess I got to say it anyways. Faith differences in marriage. One spouse may be growing spiritually faster than the other. You can pray for your spouse, but you cannot become the Holy Spirit for your spouse. Conviction changes people. Control creates resistance. So, what that means is, your spouse may not be where you at spiritually. And it's okay. Because God work on each and every last one of us individually. I don't care if we all go to the same church. I don't care if we all in the prayer line together all the time. I don't care if, we all reading the Bible all the time. We are not going to be on the same walk because God deal with us individually. He deal with us pertaining to who we are to Him and what He have us to do. So if your spouse is not on the same level with you, that is okay. The problem comes in is when you try to, so this paper said don't be trying to, basically push your religions on them. Like, don't be trying to force them into anything. Because you're not supposed to. You're supposed to lead by example, right? But in the opposite stance, don't be trying to take away my spirituality from me because you don't believe in it. Respect the fact that this is what I believe and this is what I have going on, and it's not harming you, it's not, causing any chaos or anything like that to the household or anything like that. Actually, it's making me a better person, so respect it. So it goes both ways, that's all I'm saying. Encouraging them is definitely okay. But sometimes we confuse encouraging them with control. You know what I'm saying? You know, we'll be like, oh, we're encouraging them, but we'll be like, no, you said you was going to church. Like, my husband got on me one day because he was going to church, and then one day he didn't go to church, and I was like, why you ain't go to church? And he was like, because I ain't going to. I'm like, you should be at church. Why you not at church? And he was like, well, Dad, I'm not, I don't need you to tell me to go to church. I'm not going to church because you making me go to church. I'm going to church because I want to go to church. So I had to be like, okay, you're doing too much, back away. I had to be like that because that's not my job. My job is not to make him go to church. That's not my job. So, yeah. Boundaries matter. Freedom without accountability can damage a marriage. I'm going to say that one more time. Freedom without accountability can damage a marriage. I need y'all to tag everybody y'all know in this statement right here. Freedom without accountability can damage not only a marriage, it can damage a relationship, a family ship, a friendship, any kind of ships. You'll be shipping by yourself without accountability, okay? All right? Accountability. It comes a point when you gotta stop pointing your finger at everybody else for your mess ups. You have to be accountable for the decisions that you chose to make. See, one thing that I love about God, and I really love this about him, is that he gave us all choices. That's why we shouldn't force anything on nobody, because he gave us all choices. But just remember, with the choices that he gave you, each choice comes with a consequence. So if you know that you made a choice, and now you have the consequences to pay, don't try to blame nobody else for something that you did. Take accountability. Clean up your mess and move forward. Because ain't none of us perfect. We all fall short. We all make mistakes. We all have selfish moments too. Ain't none of us perfect. But I dislike so bad a person who could go out and do all this crazy stuff, but then when you talk to them about it, they look at you dumbfounded. They can't take accountability for it. No. Stop blaming other people and take it. If you was grown enough to do it, you should be grown enough to take accountability for it. Like, period. And that's real. That is real. Love does not mean accepting behavior that harms the relationship. I'm learning that right now. Love does not mean accepting behavior that harms the relationship. Because I love you don't mean I'm going to continue to allow you to just do any and everything that you want to do when I know that it's causing stress, anxiety, pain, division towards my household, my kids, my family, anything. No, we gotta grow. We gotta take accountability. We gotta make some changes. Period. Like, no, we're not playing these games. Them games is over with. We're not kids anymore. We're not learning through and growing through. We're not learning this stuff. This stuff we should already know. It's been long enough. I love shipping myself. And I love accountability for it. And I love it. And mama, you just be loving to talk. You just be loving to have something to say, huh? Thank you for the hearts, y'all. Thank you for the hearts. All right, let me see what else is on my paper. I'm doing good today, huh, y'all? Okay, so this is my closing challenge, okay, you guys? What responsibility have you expected your spouse to carry that you never clearly communicated? Are you preparing to be a spouse or just praying to get one? Am I asking my spouse to grow or am I trying to control him? Him, them. I say him because I got a husband. Okay. But I realized that a lot of people want to get married. Yes, you are, although I'm late. A lot of people want to get married, but a lot of people don't want to be spouses. They want to get married for the title, just to say I got a husband, just to say I got a wife, or for the benefits of having a husband or a wife, but they don't want to do the works to keep the marriage. It's almost like you want the wedding, but you don't want the marriage. Or you want the honeymoon, but you don't want the marriage. Marriage is work. Anything worth keeping is worth fighting for. It's work. You know what I'm saying? Nothing is perfect. You know, you always gonna go through something because guess what? We're human. We are human, and it ain't no human perfect. You know, you're gonna have personality flaws. You know, you're gonna have tired days, days that you don't want to be bothered, days that you want to be in your bed by yourself, in your room by yourself. You want to be in your own thoughts. You don't want nobody talking to you. These things is normal because you are human, right? But I'm sorry, y'all. I got sidetracked. My mind went somewhere else. But the responsibility that you are supposed to put on your spouse, whether it's man or female, you are supposed to make them grow. Every day we live, we're supposed to learn something. Every day we live, we're supposed to gain some type of something to help enrich our lives. To be stagnated or to stay in the same space is not healthy at all, because whether you grow or not, the world still moves forward. And you not growing only put you behind and put you behind and put you behind. And when you stay behind, guess what you're doing to your spouse who's trying to grow? You're pulling them backwards too, even if you're not trying to, because y'all supposed to be hand in hand. So they steady trying to pull you with them, but you're not willing to move, so it's slowing them down. But we must not mix encouraging and trying to get our spouses to grow for controlling them. And I'm going to say this twice. That's for us women and that's for y'all men. Men oftentimes like to think that they supposed to tell their wives what they can and cannot do, what they can and cannot wear, how they should and shouldn't act. And women oftentimes forget that they're their husband's wives and think that they're their mother. You have to remember that each person is grown. You have to remember that each person is their own person. And a marriage is not about control, and it's not about having property. It's about respecting each other and the person that you chose to spend the rest of your life with, to walk through all the trials and tribulations and all the good times with on this earth. Because whether you're with them or not, you're going to go through something. But then you just pick your person who you're going to go through it with. But you have to respect the person. You have to be willing to open up to the person. You got to be willing to accept responsibility for what it is. Take accountability for what you have done. And be willing to grow. Be willing to grow, because if you don't grow, you will be left behind. And I'm going to leave y'all with this. A successful marriage is not two perfect people doing everything the same way. It is two imperfect people choosing responsibility, communication, grace, accountability, and God over pride, selfishness, and division. If you can do that, then you will thrive. I still think marriage is a beautiful thing. I think it's a beautiful thing. I think it's a wonderful thing. But when you get married, make sure you get married to the person who chooses you every day, just like you choose them every day. Thank you guys for joining me tonight. I love you guys. It's been a great podcast. Until next time, live in peace. Mwah. Love you. Bye, Meech. Love you, baby. Let me walk up this. Bye, YouTube. Thank you for tuning in.